Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Very exciting here today. We're going to be watching a game on Roaring Currents. This is one of the new ASL maps and one of the craziest maps really ever made. In the top right, we're going to have Sharp, and in the bottom left, we're going to have Effort. Now, let's just take a look at this map. Believe it or not, this map is in ASL. So I'll show it from top. It's a little bit easier up top to show. So here's your main base. Here's a high ground natural. Goes down here. Base, base. Closest 4-base setup we've ever seen. Notice that the minerals are 1,000 and gas 3,000. Yeah, he's asking if he's sock. And he's not sock, it's Sharp. And there's a 2,000 geyser and 1,000 minerals. So you run out of the resources here pretty quickly. Then you have an island in the top left. 1,200 and 4,000, so a very valuable island. Then you have an island here in the middle, which, by the way, has a ton of unbuildable terrain. 1,200, 4,000. And then you have these bases, 1,200, 4,000, and 1,200 and 4,000 on this geyser as well. These two do have a high ground that you could potentially drop upon. This one has a lot of unbuildable terrain that you could potentially drop upon, and this one's pretty well defended. Lots of buildable terrain there. So, in addition to that, it's the longest rush distance of any map ever. Okay, the map is insane. It is an insane map. We've only had one game played on it so far. I've played some games on it. I've watched games on it from pro gamers as well. My opinion of this map so far, I believe that this map will become known as the most imbalanced map ever. Right now, that belongs to Sparkle. Sparkle in the pro scene had a literal win rate of 0% in Terran vs. Zerg. Terran won 0 games ever against Zerg on that map. It was unwinnable. And if you watch their practice sessions, like literally Terran never won. So that map right now has the worst win rate ever. I think that this map will have the highest Protoss vs. Terran win rate ever seen. And I think actually Zerg is going to dominate here as well. At first I thought maybe Terran will do fine here against Zerg. But after watching some ASL, seeing the way that Larva approached it, I'm like, oh, okay, that actually makes too much sense. Like drops with Ultraling. You're going to have to do something very cheesy, very aggressive with Terran on this map, most likely. You're going to have to hit very sharp timings. And you can see here that Sharp is going for a quick factory. So we don't know exactly where he'll go with that, but definitely a good start. You probably don't want to play just a standard bio game here. That would be about the hardest thing ever to do. So anyways, I'm excited to see the map. I want to see the map more. I want to learn more about what people are thinking about with it. But yeah, it's those are my thoughts on it. You can let me know in the comments if you agree. Time will tell either way. But yeah, I think it's going to be absolutely insane. It's funny because it doesn't look as crazy as some of the others. Like, remember Inner Coven with like the circle in the center and like all the egg walls and the defense webs that were permanent and stuff? That map was more balanced than Sparkle, okay? And I think this map will be less balanced than Sparkle. So it looks in a lot of ways more normal than that, but I don't think that's the case. So taking a look, it is a starport into Command Center. Not too surprised to see that. Definitely saw that previously on this map. And in fact, I believe that's what was done against Larva here, if I'm recalling correctly. Effort, in the meantime, going for just the single sunken here to zone out any vultures and a spire on the way. So pretty normal stuff. We'll see if he does go for the Crazy Zerg here. I think Crazy Zerg is a great choice. Spire into Crazy Zerg with those carapace upgrades. Sounds like a very good choice. Double Starport Wraith here for Sharp. So yeah, that can kind of show you that he is not super interested in trying to play a normal game. Macro Hatch goes up for Effort. And, you know, it's hard to say what will happen with a 2-port Wraith opener. This is not a 1-base 2-port Wraith, so he's going to have to play a little bit defensively. Now, if you see one Wraith, you don't automatically think at this timing that it is a 2-port Wraith build because you know that he expanded. When you see the expansion, it's much more likely it's like a Wraith maybe into a dropship, maybe into 3 Wraiths as anti-Mutalisk defense. Like, those are all kind of common builds, but to go for Command Center, generally, you can't keep as much pressure on with the Wraiths because the starports are a little bit slower. So if I was Effer here, I'd be like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's a Wraith defense, but probably not mass Wraith. And we'll see exactly, of course, how many he ends up making. 2 more on the way. Gonna pick off another Overlord before any Scourge can get him, but hopefully we'll go home with that from there. Single Vulture over to the side, just kind of patrolling bases, seeing what's what. And there's that Evolution Chamber and a Queen's Nest. So it does look right now like it's probably a crazy Zerg follow-up. Also, Flyer Carapace coming up. So that's very smart, obviously. You want to get those Carapace upgrades to make sure that you're going to be completely fine against these air units in general, and like air units are going to be quite important, whether that's Overlords for dropping or just your standard flying units. Oh, that's really sad, actually. He should have set that rally. You can see, by clicking on it, you can see where the rally is now. After that happened, he set the rally over here. So definitely a little bit of a mistake there from Sharp. Too bad. Probably would not have lost that if he had the rally set. Okay, a couple more Scourge coming out and checking where everything is and kind of watching for anything coming out. Don't forget, Scourge have the lowest vision radius in the game. Carapace actually not started yet on this Evolution Chamber. Definitely something he's going to want to do. 1 Spore going up. So playing a bit of anti-Wraith defense here. You don't actually see the Spores a lot of the time against the Wraith openers. Oh, that's in the way. That's kind of funny. It's a completely tight wall. That's funny. Well, you don't, okay. What? I wonder if he's looking at this and saying, you know what? I might actually want Queens in and Snare. I am not entirely sure. Now, if I'm seeing that as Sharp, that's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, we might end up seeing Queens. Ensnare obviously destroys Wraiths. Like, you ensnare those Wraiths, they're dead. Like, they can't cloak, they can't run away, they can't do anything. Now, the Wraiths going down towards this new base that Effer had, I actually missed that, but he had dropped that on there. And probably should be able to force a cancel here. Overlord speed is not done yet. And he does have Cloak. Like, we saw him get Cloak before. A couple of barracks on the way. Knowing that this is here, I'm not really sure why he didn't try to put some pressure on there. Maybe he thought Overlord speed was about to finish or something like that, but he definitely had time to end up killing that. More Overlords coming out. Still nothing out of the Evolution Chamber. So actually, okay, well, now he starts it. That is super late for Crazy Zerg, but there's not a huge rush because this was a tech-based opener. But the +1 already started for Sharp, so not entirely sure. Obviously, well, he got this and then made a Spore, so maybe that was just the idea, and then he got Carapace later, not like necessarily a Crazy Zerg rush. Sometimes I forget that you actually need this for the Spore. They took that requirement away in StarCraft 2. And it's very rare to get into games where you want a Spore before upgrades. Very rare. It has to be specifically like a Wraith opener. So the Wraiths get split up a little bit here. Sharp will be able to kill off this Overlord and should be able to get that drone as well, slowing down any expansions in this part of the map. Hopefully he'll be able to escape with those Wraiths as well. Ends up losing one that loses Cloak. Splitting up those Wraiths, trying to get some of them away now. Looks like this one should get caught. These two still getting a little bit of work done. Oh, that's so funny. The bounces actually killed the Cloaked Wraith because it had lower health. Oh, brutal. Hive just about to finish here. See what tech he goes for from there. Does he actually go into that Ultralisk Cavern? Probably. I don't see any other tech route that he could really utilize other than Greater Spire, which doesn't sound particularly good in this case. Your opponent already has a lot of starport units. Probably not going to be great. Adrenal upgrade on the way. And there's the Ultralisk Cavern. So it will be a Crazy Zerg opener here, although not as fast as we sometimes see it. Still makes sense. A couple mutas over here waiting while he's building up his drone count a little bit. Ooh, catching the first vessel is incredibly, incredibly painful. A couple SCVs have come out. Maybe he's thinking about expanding to these bases pretty quickly. The question is, how do you deny these? How do you actually put some pressure on and get rid of these bases? It seems really, really hard because mutas are going to control the air at this point, and then Niduses are going to come up, and they're very small. So it's not like you can just drop on the side out of vision then run in or something like that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, maybe you need to do battlecruiser rush here or something. Oh, man. Loses that first dropship. It looks like that was probably a bad rally. But now the muta's actually going down. Oops. Big mistake there for effort. New base on the way. Plenty of Raxes going up, maybe looking for a timing attack or something like that. A couple more dropships being made as well. You know, I definitely could see like something like 2 to 4 vessels into 2 battlecruisers into dropships to try to break these types of bases. That sounds like it would actually be pretty good, because then you could irradiate mutas down, try to attack in, and they're going to have to make lots of static D to have a chance. A chance of holding that base. Or I don't know, maybe through the Nidus, if the Nidus is well placed, like you can just pop enough units over there. But it seems like lurker play is not particularly good on this map. And once you actually start utilizing dropships, Ultralisks counter dropships pretty hard. Like any drops you do, you generally want to have done before the Ultras are out, because they just attack, move, and Ultras clears up drops. You want drops to be able to kind of out micro and out value things, but they just don't do that to Ultralisks. Okay, utilizing drop to hold on to a Defiler here. Smart move. Definitely seen more of that lately. Little Marine drop in the corner. Ooh, I like this as a preemptive measure, actually. That really makes a lot of sense. Wouldn't mind seeing him drop off little groups of Marines at each base and just make it a little bit messy for effort to clear those out. So 2-1 still on the way. Not up quite yet. Defiler is out with these Lings. Chitinous Plating almost done. Plague almost done. It's just a 3 gas right now. So it's not like he has enough money for a ton of Ultras and Defilers and all these upgrades. Throwing some Irradiates down on Overlords. Not a super common thing to see, but maybe he thought there was drops in that, or, oh yeah, well, he is trying to get a drop through there, so that could be part of it as well. Not a ton of engages as of yet. Looks like a group of Lings coming over. These Marines will beat those Lings pretty handedly. 1-2 upgrades are on the way for our Zerglings. Meanwhile, 3-2 getting started over here for the Marines, as well as +1 air weapons. So the +1 air weapons tells us he will go battlecruiser. Yeah, there it is. The physics lab is already ready. That +1, it makes it so that Scourge always get one-shotted by the battlecruiser. Any carapace upgrade stops +0 battlecruisers from one-shotting Scourge, and any battlecruiser attack upgrade makes one shot for the rest of the game, even +1 against +3 air armor on Scourge. Okay, so starting to push through here. The Dark Swarm's just on the bridge. It's kind of funny. It's like this is the only area you have to consistently Dark Swarm. It's funny, just the tiniest group of Lings trying to hold it, but a couple Fire Bats do break through. Have those great upgrades, don't forget. Ultra's on the way. This is so hard to break shooting uphill against this. New base going down. Ultra there as well, so making it very hard to utilize dropships. Well, Sharp right now has such a huge amount of supply. 156 to 88. Has some good drops going on. Effort doesn't have a big economy yet. He's still just mining off 3 bases. He's taking this base, he's taking this base, but they are not ready yet. And so I feel like there might actually be a timing attack here that could work. Yamato Cannon on the way, by the way. So, you know, he's going to end up going for a lot of battlecruisers. Third starport coming up. Not a bad idea for sure. Now, I wonder how many bases you actually need if you're going heavy air units to make sure that Zerg can't get enough resources to actually kill you. Because don't forget, a lot of these bases are very low on resources. Okay, stimming through, trying to take down this base, gets rid of that Nidus. He is going to be able to kill this hatchery. No question there. Another base has gone up for effort. Still not getting this base mining, unfortunately. +1 is done on those BCs. That is enough. Basically for the rest of the game. A couple ultras coming up to try to clear this. They have +4 carapace against the 2-1 Marines. The Marines going to fare pretty darn well here. Oh, not against the Darkstorm though. Battlecruisers plus drops coming in. Good amount of vessels as well. I actually really like the way that Sharp is playing this. Very, very much. Yeah, TVZ might actually end up being a very interesting, matchup on this map. I really don't know how it'll end up going. I do think the Zergs are on the right path with, like, carapace openers. Going mutas into Crazy Zerg seems to make sense. Get drop really quickly to take the additional bases. Use the mutas to kind of keep any harassment off of those. And then utilize the ultras to hold on. Does make sense. Ultra's so good against drops and everything. The high armor, very, very good against non-critical masses. And I like what Sharp's doing as well. The battlecruisers are, like, well, they're the top air that you can get as Terran. Plenty of spells being cast as well. Yamatos can help clear the path. So Sharp going to end up clearing this, and this is going to bring effort down to just 3 bases. Now, not too easy to break through still. Looks like we're going to get into like a Plague Hydra grind at this point. I think the resources are getting a bit sparse here for effort. Okay, he still does have 2,000, 1,400, 440. So he's going to start running out a little bit of this energy. Hydra's kind of microing back. Great Plague goes down, but the D-Matrix is going to help out a lot there. D-Matrix on a Firebat is absolutely fantastic. If you can get those underneath the Darkstorm, it's going to be awesome. Can't quite do it, so these Hydras will start to chew through everything. Sharp going to wait it out. More Defilers hatching. The Darkstorm with Hydra is so funny because you can run the Marines under there so that they don't take damage either, but if even a single Zergling comes up, it ruins your day. That's why even against the Hydra Lurker Defiler comps, you probably should have a few Firebats in your army still. Even though they seem like kind of stupid against this composition because they don't do that well. Restoration on the way, as well as +2 air weapons. Love to see it. Wouldn't mind seeing like a command center made and floated over even to one of these bases. That could be cool. Battlecruiser actually coming through to clear this area right as a drone is dropped off, so kind of lucky there for Sharp. But Sharp is in complete control of this game and has been for a long time. You know, again, I think that there's definitely some good ideas going on both sides here. We're starting to see a variety of games here, and I do think that Crazy Zerg is probably how it's going to end up. But in this particular game, like, Effort wasn't super aggressive about expanding the other bases and getting them defensed up very quickly. GG. And Sharp is going to take that one. Interesting map. Let me know what you guys think. We're still really early in the evolution of this map. It's very clear it's going to be heavily Protoss favored in both matchups, but not entirely clear yet what it's going to look like in Terran vs. Zerg. Let me know what you think in those comments. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.